Yep. Okay, so your ball speed just jumped up to 167.
Wow. Yep.
If you're not doing this in your fitting, what else are we doing? I gotta get you to hit the center of the face. Great swing. Great shot.
Yeah.
Rewarded with a perfect ball flight.
Oh yeah.
All right, guys, these are the days that we live for. Today, we're gonna be checking out the new Titleist GT lineup of drivers. Incredibly, it has been 2 years since we've been here at the incredible Titleist TPI facility for our last driver fitting. A lot has changed with us as well as with the equipment. So we're gonna be learning all about the new GT lineup and how it's gonna fit into our game. So let's get over there. Let's introduce our fitter. We've got the perfect day. We've got the perfect facility. Could not be more excited to do this. Let's jump right into it.
All right, time to meet our fitter, Lucas. Great to meet you, man.
Good to see you again.
Yeah, man, this place is incredible, and I love coming here. I love getting fit, and now we've got some brand new sweet drives.
Me too. We have some fun stuff for you to try today.
How do we get started?
First thing to do is we got to compare what you walked in with what we have to offer. So new GT product is obviously the new kid on the block. I know you were fit here before.
Yeah.
You worked with Glenn in the past. And so two things are going to happen. One, we want to put new tech in front of you. And the second is we want to make sure the specs that you had before, you haven't evolved from them. Sometimes players come in here and they get fit for a club, really helps them. And then over that time, the 2 years since you've been here, you change your swing a little bit, you get a little faster, you get a little bit better. So we want to answer those questions with some fine tuning of the head as well.
So what are the goals? What do you hope to see out of this fitting? What should I see?
The big thing is we want to make sure you're not leaving anything on the table. And leaving things on the table can mean distance overall, it can mean accuracy, it can mean gives you a sense of feeling maybe how the club looks, how the club feels to where you can play your best on the golf course. So my goal is to, through your ball flight, allow you to shoot lower scores.
Love it. So something I'm used to, getting that baseline. Just crank a couple?
So goal here is tee it up, pretend like this is a fairway on your favorite hole in your golf course. Just do what you do, nothing more, nothing less. I want good ones, but keep in mind too that in a fitting, I want bad ones because the bad ones are the ones that I can get closer to the good ones, hopefully.
Sure.
A lot of people come in here and they think that they have to hit everything perfect. When you go to the doctors, you don't go because you're feeling good. Something's wrong. You don't go to the mechanic because everything's working fine. We got to find the problem so that we can fix it.
Love it.
Bad shots are good.
All right.
How would you rate the driver in terms of your game? Do you think it's a strong point, a weak point, kind of in the middle?
I would, if you said pick one club out of your bag you're most confident in, it would be driver.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Which miss drives you insane?
It's my slice, and I know when I don't fire those hips, I get all armsy, and I will just slice across it,
Okay.
and it'll end up on a couple fairways over.
Does it start right and stay right, or it starts left and ends up right?
Starts right and stays right.
Copy. Okay.
That's my typical ball flight. It's like that low little fade.
Let me show you some things. This is really good. When you hit a cut, you have nice peak height, which is about 96 feet. And that ball has the right amount of spin for its launch angle and its ball speed. So the three most important numbers in fitting are ball speed, launch angle, and spin rate, right? That's the holy trinity of your ball flight. That's how you define the ingredients to ball flight. The way that you define ball flight inside a Trackman is how high did the ball go? How high did it apex? What angle does it come into the ground? And then most importantly, how far does it carry? How far it will total will depend on its angle and the course that you're playing, right? Jersey in the spring, where you carry it is where you total it.
Right.
Jersey in August, September, you might get some more tumble. So that shot is gonna show as one of your best carry and totals because it was high and it had a landing angle that sits between 35 and 38 degrees. But here's the catch. You had to make a not so great golf swing to make that happen.
Right.
My opinion is you've changed a little bit and I wanna try to influence your window. I wanna influence your launch angle a lot. A mistake I see a lot of fitters make is they go to the shaft first, and this is an incredibly important part of the golf club. I don't want to dismiss its importance, but if we don't get the loft and the head style right first, we're fishing in the wrong pond.
Yeah.
So let's start with something you're comfortable with.
Okay.
And then once we get this dialed in, we'll experiment with some different things.
This is the GT2 model, arguably considered the most forgiving of the models in the new GT line. It is the one with the largest planform, as you'd see from a dress, largest moment of inertia. But beyond all of that, it's really the one that's got the easiest characteristics in terms of launch. If you struggle getting the ball up in the air, this is likely the driver that is going to benefit you the most in the new GT line.
All right, first GT driver head, same shaft. Here we go.
Center of gravity plays a big role when we talk about how the club can open and close the door. When you go into our product presentation, you're going to hear a lot of things about MOI. The tricky part with MOI is the higher the MOI, the more the club doesn't want to rotate. And so what happens is you deliver it very square and then it stays pretty square. So if you point it right, it's going to go right.
Yeah.
And so for you, what I see is the door's not closing fast enough.
Okay.
That was the 2 model that you were hitting. This is not.
Oh, yeah.
That I like.
My best shot yet.
Good swing.
Felt good.
Really good swing. Remember, the goal is you can always hit your best shot. But when you play, you got 14 drivers typically. I need your bad ones to get closer to your best one.
Got it.
And I need your best one to show up too.
Yeah.
But we got to make steps towards getting the bad ones closer to the good ones. That was great. Shaft feel okay?
Yeah, it does.
Oh. All right, I'm gonna change up. So what we're trying to figure out to start off with is I'm throwing a couple variables at you. Just because I'm curious. You're either gonna absolutely love or hate this one.
I liked it so far.
I really like that golf shot.
Yeah, so do I.
That was great.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It just felt good.
Good. Weight feel okay?
Weight feels great.
This is the new GT3 model, successor to the TSR3, which is the most popular driver amongst better players in the world. So we had some very specific goals here of improving the spin rate to launch ratio from the driver, improving ball speed and spin consistency, while still giving you the opportunity to tune the driver to your own individual performance by moving weight in the toe and the heel direction. So if you're the kind of driver of the ball who is looking for a little bit more control of your ball flight by adjustment of the center of gravity, and you like the form factor of this particularly popular 3 model shape, then a GT3 is for you.
On some level, you have to understand what your misses are when you play golf.
Absolutely.
And so if we take this miss and we compare it to our old miss, we had more ball speed, but the spin got a little bit higher. But the return of what we get are these shots up here. So this one's really important because you're at 90 feet of peak height, but you're 274 carry. These are what we deem good golf swings. All right.
Absolutely.
It's 10 degrees.
10.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm coming from an 8.
For sure.
Yeah.
So to your point, you have evolved.
Yeah. I'm hitting the ball high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know who else hits the ball high?
Who?
Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth,
There you go.
Charlie Hoffman. So a lot of people come out here and they're afraid of height. And you look at the top players on the PGA Tour, they have a lot of club head speed and they can hit the ball really high when it's applicable. In terms of the 3, the biggest differences in what you're going to be talking about are where the weight is placed.
Gotcha.
So 4 model, weight being placed more close to the front of the face. And what that does is allows maximum workability, but then you'll also hear things like it's less forgiving, right?
Yep.
So because you can open and close that faster, sometimes it can get a little off direction, but allows you to work the ball. 3 sits in a really, really good place in the middle. And then the 2 model, think more like a sport performance SUV. You sit in the middle of the wheel well, but it's got tight suspension so you can take turns nice, but also feels really good kind of on a straightaway on a highway.
Gotcha.
So as you sit more towards the front wheels, you can take turns better, but starts to be a little bit more challenging in straightaway.
Gotcha.
I like to relate it to cars because I think a lot of people resonate with cars sometimes because we all drive for the most part. All three have the same aerodynamic properties and then all have the same face technology.
Okay.
So in prior years, these two models didn't quite have the exact same technologies, and now they do.
Okay.
And so the benefits are in both of those heads. So let's play with the length of the club.
Okay.
I'm gonna make it as short as I can.
Okay.
If you start dipping in club head speed, then you better make up for it in efficiency with strike.
Like that.
I like.
Yeah, that was a nice one.
Length can function a couple different ways for us in the fitting. The shorter the club, the easier it is to make contact, but also it can be easier for us to cover, which means we can lose peak height. The longer the club gets, sometimes we can hit the ball higher, but we lose our ability to find the center.
Yeah.
And then sometimes if it gets too long with a player who has speed, they complain of thin shots or high right or really spinny or crazy, crazy high shots. So there's kind of a balancing act between the lengths. I love everything about that.
Yeah, that's a beaut.
Great shot.
Thanks.
165 ball speed.
Wow. Really?
Yeah. Yep. Okay, so your ball speed just jumped up to 167.
Wow. That seemed to be one of my best shots all day right there.
I would agree for a lot of reasons. That would be number one reason why I'd agree.
Yep.
If you're not doing this in your fitting, what else are we doing? I gotta get you to hit the center of the face. Great swing, great shot.
Yeah.
Rewarded with a perfect ball flight.
Oh yeah. That one looked and felt great.
That's great.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how you get dialed in, guys. Just like this. I love it.
Fine with that too.
Yeah. That'll play.
One more good one. 169 ball speed.
Whew.
There it is.
Yeah.
Great shot.
Yeah, thanks.
They're all within 3 yards of one another in terms of carry. And they all have 137 RPMs of difference of spin.
Wow.
That is not very much.
Yeah, no.
So normal deviation, you're usually okay with about 300. The biggest thing that I've noticed with GT is we call it spin window, and the spin window is very small. And so when the spin window is small, you can shape your shot left to right or right to left, and you're gonna get that same carry distance show up more often.
Love that.
That would be how I would define forgiveness for a player.
Okay.
It's not always about keeping you straight, well, that's a piece of it.
Right.
But I want your carry distance to be very repeatable.
Sure.
So no matter what hole, what shot shape you decide, it's gonna do the same thing.
Love it.
I like that combination.
That's it, huh?
Uh-huh.
So the GT3, 10 degrees, getting it up in the air more, 10 side blue. So shaft that Frank is very comfortable with. He's got that throughout his lineup. 75 grams?
Yep.
Yep. Wow.
Really good.
There it is. The newbie. Can't wait to get it in the bag.
All right.
That one is well struck for me.
So we're gonna have almost the same conversation. You definitely are good at hitting the fairway and prioritizing your straight. If I looked at your numbers, I would say your spin's pretty low.
Yeah, I'm always low spin with driver.
Which we might not be able to solve, but the reason you're low spin is you swing in to out and then you turn the face down, which is why you get that draw.
Yes.
Sometimes when that spin gets too low, that ball is kind of slamming left, right? Think of an airplane flying. When it doesn't have enough lift, it crashes and it crashes down, and a golf ball will crash left. It'll float right for a right-handed player. So first thing I want to do is try to get your spin up.
Okay. It's funny because I've always thought just a generality was with driver you wanted low spin. So I've never kind of even addressed it because I see the spin rate 1600 and I'm like, I'm there.
So if you asked a tour player, I don't think a single one of them would want their spin rate below 2200. They like 25, 2600 because it's maximum control and they get distance because of their ball speed. So I want to help you fix that because you might be also losing accuracy.
Interesting. Yeah, dispelling definitely a myth there, because I just thought driver, almost the lower the spin, the better, I thought.
Couldn't be any worse for golfers.
That's why we've had it so many things. We learn something new every time.
That's the one I want to show you.
So I just kind of feel like my draw went away a little bit there.
Well, one could say that your draw is only there because of the other club, right? Because it is kind of diving. So that last shot, average, was 20 yards further than the other one.
Yeah, and I see the spin came up.
It did. You also had better ball speed. And what this typically means is loft is a very overlooked piece of the puzzle because you have to match the loft with how the player collides with the ball. And some players remove loft when they swing, some players add loft when they swing. And sometimes as the fitter, you try to influence that. But moral of the story is, if you're 20 yards closer to the hole, do you miss out on shots when you're not in the fairway because you're 20 yards further back?
Right.
I would miss out on shots. Justin Thomas would miss out on shots if they're 20 yards further back.
Yeah. Now for me, coming from the two, is that where you start with me too?
That's what I did start with you, yeah. It's always good to try to, you can take two approaches. Approach number one is change everything.
Yeah.
But then you got to know your steps to where you went.
Right.
Or you change one little piece. And so I like to work in extremes so that I kind of create my corridors where I say, okay, this was too far, this was too little. And then I work my way back to the middle.
Got it.
So this next one is going to be a little bit more of an extreme.
Whoa, that's a lot higher. Oh, a lot higher.
That's what a tour player looks like. Higher your ball goes, further you can hit it. So like that last shot was 251.5 carry. You started at 228.5.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. If I'm hitting it low, I'm going to lose out on some carry distance. It may roll, but you can't rely on roll.
Not everywhere.
It gets soft, especially where we play.
Yeah.
It rains, it gets soft. I'd rather have the carry.
That's a good miss.
I hit that low and it still got probably the same height as I was getting before.
Yep. I think you touched on a couple really, really good points. Spin is your friend. Height is your friend. Club fitting is your friend.
So funny. I was chasing the wrong thing with spin. You know, even just hitting on the launch monitor at home, just thinking, you know, great, it's low, 1600. Just thinking driver should be low.
There are some cases where having the spin lower is good, and long drive would be an example of that.
Right.
But players often forget that they're playing golf. And when you play golf, you've got to score.
Right.
And so number one, I've got to get you to your potential first, and then we got to dial in your potential. All right, I didn't love that. Like I said, I like to work in extremes. So that was one direction. I'm gonna turn around and take the other fork.
You find out where the guardrails are.
For sure. I'm challenging you a little bit, but I don't want to take away your bread and butter as well.
Right. One thing I'm noticing though immediately, even when we're doing different heads and stuff, it definitely feels more forgiving. So whereas my misses were a little bit bigger before,
yeah,
there's a lot of get away with it misses there.
Mm-hmm. That's good. And what you're experiencing is when you're burning spin rate so hard on one side,
yeah,
you have to be perfect to make your ball fly. And so your misses get really extreme.
Right.
But when you start getting spin rate into a nominal state, you can miss a little left and a little right, and things equal out a little bit more.
That's it. I want that every time, please.
That was really good.
Can I get that every time?
One thing I definitely think we need to do is shorten your driver.
Okay.
This is 45 inches. You're in 45 and a half. 45 and a half is perpetuating your... I need you to get a little steeper.
Got it.
I need him to get a little bit
We're
shallow.
always opposite, yeah. Get him more shallow, get him.
You guys are a great scramble.
We are.
I don't like to take a lot of risks in fittings. I try to pick one thing that I really think you should do. I think one thing so far I really like is 11 degrees versus 10 degrees.
Okay.
And then 45 inches versus 45 and a half. Those are kind of my hierarchy of what I like.
And so adding the more loft is what's going to get us a little more spin.
That's the hope.
And then the new GT heads are going to keep that spin within the window we want.
Correct.
Got it.
and maximize ball speed on center to off center hits. I like it. Let me show you. Your ball speed only went up 1 mile an hour, but your launch angle went up 2.5 degrees, and your spin rate went up from, we'll call it 1,600 to 2,600, so 1,000.
Yeah.
Your carry goes up 20 yards.
Yeah.
Because your ball's 100 feet in the air versus 56 feet in the air. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Let's hit the 3.
Okay.
And then we'll hit the 4.
Well then.
See, this is why I don't make any assumptions.
That's why we hit everything. Wow. Okay.
But it's important that we found some things that really worked for us. We found a length and a weight that's comfortable in a shaft that we like.
Yep.
We're in a loft that makes sense for us because of what our ball needs are. Now we change up the head styles and we weigh our pros and cons.
I love that though. That's
great.
2 like that.
Yep. Okay. Let me put the 4 in your hands.
GT4's priority is really in allowing a low center of gravity, which means that players who want to lower their spin rate have the best opportunity of doing so with this model. So that usually is a preserve of maybe players with higher head speeds, or if you know that you're the kind of player who just generates a lot of spin because of your swing path naturally, then spin reduction is the main purpose of the GT4 model.
I think my favorite is always when there's a few things that work. That's actually, it's a good problem to have. And then like you were saying, we can weigh the pros and cons, look at the numbers don't lie, and then start to see which one's gonna fit my game the best.
My joke is, and all the guys that work for the company will laugh when I say it, if you and I have to go play a 2-man best ball at Torrey Pines South tomorrow, and it's 25 million bucks a piece tax-free if we win, which driver do I need you to play so I win 25 million?
Here you go.
Excellent shot. But what'd you notice?
The sound is a lot different than what I'm used to.
What about the ball
It's a little
flight?
low.
And is low what we're after?
No. In this
Great.
case, no.
It's a great shot though.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take it. It probably didn't carry nearly as far, but it probably rolled pretty good.
If it's dry.
If it's dry, right.
So here's what we're really gonna compare. White's where you started.
Yep.
Light blue or dark blue, and why? And I'm just gonna focus on your peak height. If you were to look at a tour player, tour players make more money at 100 feet than they do 77 feet.
Yeah. So we got 100 feet of height out of the GT2. We got 77 feet out of the GT3.
And all we did was change head style. I think the 2 model is a better option for you. I'd rather see you with a right miss that has higher spin, because when you have 150 miles an hour ball speed and you hit it straight, it's gonna have more potential to go further.
I agree. I like the way the height looked to my eye. And just again, playing so much soft conditions, I would rather carry it there than run it there.
I agree.
Yeah.
I like it.
Looks great.
Cool. So GT2, 11 degrees. I left the SureFit hosel at A1 again. The reason I left it there is because I don't want to bias you in where your golf ball starts. I want you to really focus on how you're aimed and what you're intending to do with the ball. And then I gave you a stiffer shaft. So it's 65 grams, but it's a 1K black. So it's tighter in profile, but still a stiff flex. And then we chopped you a 1/2 inch. So we went from 45.5 down to 45 inches.
So we learned more spin. Is good.
It's
good.
good.
In my case, it's good.
Yes.
Higher, better.
Yes.
And
yes.
We're hitting this one further.
And so we got, you were 228 average carry on your gamer, and then you went up to 249.5, we'll call it 250 to round up average carry. So 22 yards.
Appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Good stuff.
Thanks.